So this is my Vaalmonica deck that I was running. Got me top 4. I really only lost one round to I just didn't get the hand. It happens sometimes. Um, the monsters is pretty small. You're gonna run the 3 Celatrice. This is main searcher. It gets you any Vaalmonica card, so whatever you need, it's gonna add it.
Is that the QCR you got there?
Yes, that is
Okay.
QCR. Got to make sure to flex when
Gotta
you can.
flex.
Then your other important ones, you got Demono. This is going to be one of your pendulum scales. And then Angelo, the other pendulum scale, so 5 and 3. When you've got them, you're locked into 4s for pendulums. It's okay, everything's a 4. And then otherwise, this is a very heavy spell traps. So we want the field spell. This is another very good starter. Searches a lot of things that you might miss.
Classic field spell things?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Classic card design, gotta search everything. Skelta, it's another very important one. It also searches not quite everything, but everything else. Invitaire, it's a very important combo, as well as it can kind of start combos, but that gets a little funky when you have to do it, but it's very useful. And then Berserk, this is going to be sets up what you can do for your end board. And then you can just kind of have some consistency stuff that are also the Vaalmonica's Disharmonia and Intonaire. So Disharmonia returns the returns cards. Intonaire returns monsters. And then we've got our traps. So we'll start Chosen Melody. This one is protection, monster negate. Comes in handy use occasionally, quite often. Followed Rhythm is the main one you want to get set up. And this one destroys a spell trap and bounces. And then new card, Vaalmonica Creation. It's just kind of nice, increases attack. You can quick link when your opponent summons, and then you can just set one of your pendulums to 3 counters. We use a lot of counters. And then the last couple consistencies, triple tactics, draw cards, draws good, terraforming, search the field spell, as it does. And then now we get into all the fun stuff of hand traps and all that shenanigans. 2 droll, 1 nib, 2 ghost spell, 3 ash, DD Crow, Spooky Dogwood, good synergy. Because you gain life, you like to gain life by effect. And then called by and cross out to stop any potential interruption. Moving into the extra deck. It gets pretty fun, pretty interesting. Going first, you're going to want to end on Zebufera, or Zebufera, however you want to pronounce it. This one is the Fiend, so you need resonance counters on the Fiend Pendulum. Duraloom, this one's the Fairy, you want resonance counters on the Fairy. So Zebufera does interruptions, so if you go first, that's your end. As you'll go, you'll just use the Followed Rhythm or Chosen Melody, target it, apply both effects. So you get both of them. Duraloom, it is your go second or your finisher, as it'll wipe basically the entire board when you summon it, because you'll target based on resonance counters on field, and then you can attack 3 times with it.
Oh, snap.
And then the other kind of new support is Virar. So this one's the spellcaster, but you just have to go using one of the other links. If you've got 6 counters, it's unaffected by anything except for a Vaalmonica, except for Vaalmonica cards. So it's a tower.
Oh.
It gets attacks equal to the level 4s on board that you control. So it is also a very good finisher. And then it is an inherent summon negate. Doesn't happen all too often, but when it does, that's always good. And then you play it run a lot more links. So Artemis, this is what you use with Celatris when you get the funny combos. It's a link one, just wants a spellcaster. And Celatris, its big thing is not that one. It only gets its search when it is normal or pendulum summoned. Occasionally you'll have to special it with Intonair. Doesn't get the effect, but you can link into Artemis, return it to hand by its effect, and now you can normal summon it. You get full combo. IP Masquerena is a big end board target because you can end on Zebufera and IP. Now you get Zebufera effect twice because it is a soft once per turn, not a hard once per turn. The other end boards with it that your options are Abyss Dweller if you have a lot, or if you're going up against heavy graveyard decks. It didn't come up today, but it's an option. The one I kind of defaulted into a lot of the time today was Baguska. Very good skill drain on legs. And then just a whole bunch of funny, interesting extra deck stuff that just kind of synergizes. Sorcerer Sebek, whenever it or a card you point to does damage, you gain life. Gain life by effect, we like that. Angela likes that. And then you do damage by effect. We like that too. Moon of the Closed Heavens, just really good because it's more outs. Lena the Light Charmer, with Fiendsmith being as big as it is, you can kind of take some of that, as well as we're running lights, so why not? Then we've got Access Code. It's more board breaker. You're not going to see it too often, but it happens. Apo, when things get really funny, you can end on an Apo with negates and just kind of prevent stuff from happening. Hopefully prevent your opponent from starting, then you draw into something good. And then Underworld Goddess is just really good, and if you want Closed Moon, you want the Underworld Goddess because that's about the only target we got right now.
That combo's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything about the main deck or extra deck you would change?
I think right now, the extra deck, I kind of like how it is. I wouldn't change anything on the extra deck. The main deck, a lot you can kind of do is obviously you can adjust around a lot of the hand traps. So Spooky Dogwood, I just kind of put it in because I really like the card. I think it's funny. I think it's good, and it's got good synergy. But all the ratios and whatnot, you can kind of mess around with based on format, match up with your side deck and stuff. So that's very flexible because we're running so many of them. And then the main deck, you kind of want to keep, or for the Vaalmonica name stuff, you kind of want to keep mostly how it is, just because there's a lot of starters. So field spells, very good to see because it searches a monster. So if you're missing one of the pendulums, you can grab it, as well as it potentially steals a monster. So it's very good. You want 3 of it, you want to see it. Same with Celatris. Celatris is on her own, almost one card starter. Actually, I think, she's almost a one card starter. You would need to see her and then one of either the field spell or Skelta. Because we don't really have one card starters right now, unfortunately. Because if you're missing one of the pendulums, you go, but you have Celatris and the field spell. You Celatris, search Skelta, field spell, search one of the pendulums, and now you have full combo. And vice versa, however you're missing, because you can field spell, search any of the monsters, so whichever one, grab it. You're missing one of the spells, but you have the pendulum, search the spells.
Nice.
And then Invitaire is another good one because Invitaire will special the Cellatrix from deck, which is how if you're only missing the Cellatrix, or if you're missing the Cellatrix, as well as either the Skeletor or Field Spell, but you have the pendulums, you just go Invitaire, Cellatrix, Cellatrix, Artemis, return Cellatrix. Now you have everything in full combos. Alternatively, if you end up with both a pendulum or a way to get one and Cellatrix, this is how you get the Zabufera plus either IP Abyss or the Baguska, because it will add one of them to hand, add one of the pendulums to hand, place the other one face up in the extra deck. So now you've got the 2/4s and anything for a Link 1.
So what's the biggest pendulum summoning you're doing? Are you pen summoning for 5, or what's the big one?
Today I think the biggest I hit was probably a pen summon for 4.
Okay, that's huge.
That was like a turn 3, turn 4 pendulum summon though. Generally, all you're really going to be seeing is probably 2 most of the time. 1 from hand, 1 from the extra deck. But occasionally you might hit 3 if you have 2 of them in hand, or if you see 2 pendulums
Multiple
in your
monsters.
starting hand.
Right.
So, and then traps at 1, they're easy search. Versaire is kind of the end board starter, so you don't really need to see 1. If you see it in your hand, that's good. If not, it's okay. And then Disharmonia, Intonaire. I've seen people not running the Intonaire on lists I've looked at. Because there's a little bit of overlap with the Disharmonia, because Intonaire is specific to monsters. I just like the little bit of extra consistency, or a little bit of extra recursion, because you can do both. And then the creation is kind of new, so I think people are kind of playing around with it. I've seen some lists using it, some lists not using it. It depends on preference at that point.
Do you want to go through the extra or the side deck?
I was not running a side deck today.
Okay, no worries.
I'm not super comfortable with side decks yet. I haven't been playing a lot of decks with them.
Okay.
If I was running a side deck, though, I would say probably Evenleys, Dimensional Barriers, the rest to set up the rest of the play sets of hand traps, just kind of to tailor whatever I have in my deck to matchups or formats.
Gotcha. Okay. Any shout outs?
I'll shout out to our TO, Beck. He was kind of the one helping me play around with this before I came in today. Kind of helping me test it out, and I'd shoot him questions and stuff on rulings that I wasn't entirely sure of, because this is the first time I've ever played pendulums. This is kind of what got me into wanting to try and play pendulums. And yeah, so our TO Beck, shout outs to you, man. You great help, and you great TO.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome to locals. Don't lose to the angels and demons, except you will.
Yeah.